Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully installed one of the completely fresh Laravel 12 project and also installed that bridge authentication system. So right now our next job will be here. I want to make it as a passwordless. Before I have already created one of the new user for the user, right? Everything works successfully. Now our next part will be here. I want to make it as a passwordless. That means that should be no option for the password. Here process will be simple. Here which user will be put that email address, and this where user related email address area that will be send one of the code. User will be receive this code throughout this mail, and into this mail area that will be generated some of the like as a 6-digit code. Here you have to copy it, then you have to paste that your 6-digit code. Then that should be able to log in and it should be returned direct to that our /dashboard. Right, so that is actually our total process. Now I want to execute this part. For doing this, we have to create another database table, and also Laravel already provided one of the user table. And this table area, that is the password we have to make it as a nullable. That means here if there have any no password, that should be not give you any type of error. First of all, I want to set up it. For doing this, we have to go to that our migration. That means here if you go to that your project, and into this project area here you will find it the database, and into the database we have to go to that migration, and Laravel already default provided that migration table for the user, that is our user. And into this user here, if you notice, that is the email as a unique, which is fine. Email will be unique for particular that our user table, and also that have the password field. And this password I want to change it. I want to make it as a nullable. Okay, here I simply added that as a nullable. Nullable means here if there have any no data for particular that password field, that will be not give you any type of error. Very important, make that sure you updated it as a nullable. Great. Now our next job I want to create another new table. Okay, I will create another new table like as a logging for code for getting that our total code information data. That is the code I will store it in our another table. So if you want to create that any type of table in Laravel, in that case we have to better want to make it as a clear. And then I want to create another new database model that will be a PHP artisan, and then the make model, and I want to create this model name like as a logging code. Okay, that will be the logging code. That will be our model name, and also at a time I want to create another migrations table. Now that will be created two things. One, it will be created our model, and also it will be created another migration. Right, so you can see there is a logging is successfully created as a logging code in our models, and that is our migration table. What type of field you want to assign for particular this table, we have to simply check assign it into this our migration. So now I want to better close it, and now if you go to that our database, and here if you notice that have another new migrations is successfully created as a logging codes. Here if you open it, and you can see that is a logging codes. So I want to better copy some of the field data from to this user, and here now I want to add it. That will be a 4 of this field. I want to take it. One field I want to make it as a string. That will be for the email. I name it as email, and this email I want to make it as the indexing one. So that will be as the index. Okay, index. I want to simply define it as the index. I want to provide it one of the code. So for that reasons, I want to take another field that will be as a code, and I want to take another one as a expiry date. That means after that word of the code, this system will be send it to this your user email. After how many times that will be as invalid. You can set it as for the 60 minutes or the 30 minutes. That will be depends on you. So here for that reasons, I want to take another field as the expiry date. So that will be the expires _at. Now this type of one of the field I want to take it, and here that will be as a time is spent. Okay, I want to use it as a time is spent, not the spent. That will be as a time is spent. Okay, sorry, here that will be as a time is spent. So I think that's 3 of this field will be fine. One, I make it as a string as the email. I make it as a index. Okay, and then that will be as a our code. Code will be as a string type, and I take another time is spent for the expiry at. Fine. I think that's fine. And now we have to also update that our that is a field, that means database. Here if you go to that our model, and into this model you can see that is also created our model name as a logging, that is a logging course. So now into this logging course here, first of all I want to make it as a fillable for our all that field. You can also copy it from to the user, like that will be just like that. I copy it, and now in our logging code here I want to paste it. Okay, so that is actually our all that field. Here I have already defined that field name. One will be as an email, another will be as a code. I want to take it as a code. Another will be here as a expiry at. Okay, so I make it as a expiry at, so that will be as a expiry at. So I think that's fine. So now all that our field is in here is now totally fillable. That means here that is a fillable data for the field, email field, code field, and expiry at field. Great. And then also I want to take that our cast for our expiry at. Like here if you go to that our user, that have also you'll get some of the references. Like that is actually our cast. Okay, so that is a cast. I want to call it also from here. So if you want to copy, or rather than I want to write down it here, after that I want to make it that will be as a protected, and protected will be as a cast on of the variable casts cards. And this cards area here I want to define that our field name as a expiry at, that will be one of the date format. Okay, that means one of the our date time. So I make it as a date time. That's fine. Here I simply take it, and now we have to set that our expiry date. So I want to take another function name. I name it as a public, and I just put it as a function name. I name it as is expired. Okay, expired, expired. So this type of one of the function I want to create, and this functions area here I want to return our this, that will be return this one of the our field as a expiry at. So that is the expiry at. This will be as a is passed. Okay, is, and then the passed one of the method I want to call it as a is passed method. Fine. And then also we have to pass it one of the generated content. So I want to take another function. I name it as a public. I make it as a static one. Static. Public is static, that will be one of the function, and this function name I name it as a generate, generate. Okay, I just name it as generate code. So that will be one of the function, and in this functions area here I want to return one of the 6-digit type, one of the things I want to pass it. Okay, so that I make it as a str underscore pad, one of the function, and this functions area here I want to create one of the randomize integer number. So that is also another function as a randomize, as a random integer. Okay, I want to call it, and in here our value will be from to the 0 to the 6 digits. So I want to make it as a 9, that means 6 9 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, 6 9 I want to simply define, and here I want to make it as a 6 digit, that will be here as a 0. Okay, I want to add that 0, and here I want to call it our str, that will be str underscore pad underscore left. Okay, left, that is a function I want to call it. Fine. So now that's fine. So throughout when I call it one of the generate code, now system will be send one of the code. It will be generated one of the unique code as a by the random integer function, that will be created one of the randomized integer function, and that will be started with the 0 and then str or pad left. Okay, here I want to pass it. So I think that's all here we have to do. Now click as a save all. Everything is look like great. Now we have to do, before I have already migrate that our table. Right, so now I want to simply migrate it again, because I have already defined another new table by the name as a logging code, and also our old data I want to remove it. Because of all I have already make this our user, that is a password field. This field I make it as a nullable, right? So that is the reasons I want to run one of the command, and this command will be as a php artisan, and then the migrate, migrat. So normally in Laravel, if you run it as a PHP artisan migrate, that will be migrate our new database table that I have already created, that will be added this table in particular your database. That is fine, but here I have already changed some of the data in our existing one. So that is the reasons I want to call it as a PHP artisan migrate, and then that will be as a fresh fresh. So now that will be do, it will be first of all drop all that our table and then remigrate again your all the table. Okay, so here our existing data, if there have any data, that will be also gone, because that will be drop all that our table and then it will be remigrate. I show you, like here, if you click as enter, and you can see first of all that is dropping your all the table data. Then it's called that our migration, and that again it's migrated our new all the table. So now here you can see that have also another new database that is table I have created by the name as a logging codes, and that is successfully also migrate. Now if you click as a refresh, and yes, you can see that is a logging our migrate. I have already defined 3 of this field as email, code, and expiry at. That is fine, and our user table, they have our existing data is also gone, and you can see our password field I have already make it as a nullable. If you go to that our structure, and into this structure here, if you go to that our password, and you can see I make it as a null. Perfect. So here we successfully update that our new database table. So now we have to work for our logging page and the register page. So first of all, I want to go to that our register page, because if you want to logging without password, that means here for the register also this user should be no access for the password. So here I want to change it. That is our slash and then the register, and that is the page is loaded in Laravel. If you go to that your project, now I don't need this. I want to better close everything. Okay, here I want to close everything, and now we have to go to that our view, and that will be in our resources view in our auth folder, and that is the our register one. Okay, that is our default register, and this the register page is working behind this. So from here I want to remove that our password and confirm password, because I have already make our password field as a nullable. That means if there have any no data, that should be not give you any type of issues. So I want to simply go here, and you can see that have also default one of the post method route you are using as a register. Everything is ready made. Here we don't need to do anything, only that is our name field will be needed, our email field will be needed, and that is our password. You can see that I have also one of the comment I want to remove that our password field, and that is a confirm password dev. If you select this dev is started, dev is ended, I want to remove it. Okay, password and confirm password, both of this I removed, and then that will be our register. So rest of everything I want to take it just like that same. Here I don't need to do anything. I think that should be fine. Okay, so now there is a register button, there is a register that should be hit that our URL as a register, which is fine. Now click as a save all. So now our another process here we have to do, like here before by default when you access that our register, if you go to that our route list again, which I have already show you, like here if you run it as a PHP addition our route list. Okay, so when you run it as a PHP addition route list, if you go to that our register, what exactly the method is working behind this, if you go to that our register, and that is the register one of the method, you can see that is the register is executed by default from to this our auth, and that is the registered user controller one of the method as a store method. Right, by default a password is required, but here I am already make it as a passwordless. So I have already removed that our password field from to this our register page. So here also we have to update. Like right now that is our register. Okay, as I told you, that is our auth, registered user controller, and the store method. I want to go there. So that will be, you will find it in our HTTP controller auth folder, and here you will find it on of the file as a registered user controller, and into this registered user controller area that have one of the store method, and you can see that is the store method. So here now we have to work little bit, like here name is required, email is required, and password. You can see I have already removed this our password. That means here our validation process, into the validations process area also we don't need any password field. I want to simply remove it. Okay, very important, make the sure update in our user register. Okay, that means in our auth folder, that is a register user. Okay, register user one of the controller method. By default Breeze actually provided this type of one of the file, and that is our method as a store method. Here I simply remove it from the validation, and then name is requested name, email will be guessed from to this our requested email, because here from to the requested email means that is our field name as a name field. Here there is a name field, another field as a email field, but password I have already removed it. So that is the password I want to do. I want to make it that will be as a null. Okay, I name it as a null value. It means here that will be that will be as a no password needed, right? Sorry, that will be as a password needed. So now that will be actually I make this our password field will be as a null, and then register will be register, authenticated will be logged in, that will be redirect to that our dashboard, which is really fine. So now here I want to add another option, because now that will be executed our another process that should be sent that our code, right? So that is the reasons I want to better put some of the note for you. That will be our option. Okay, that will be the first option will be it will be created, then that will be our second option. I want to use it as a second. Okay, option second area that will be that will be send that verification code after registration. Okay, registration. So now here we have to set up it. For doing this, I want to first of all take one of the variable and I just name it as a code, and this code will be I have already created that our model right here. If you go, I have created this our model name as a logging, that is a logging code. So that is the logging code I want to first of all support it in here. Better I copy it and I paste it in our models folder. That is our model name. I name it as a logging code. Here in our register user controller area, first of all you have to support it. It's very important, make that sure you support it. Now we can able to access that our model as a logging code model. Now I copy it and then I want to go back here, that I take one of the variable as a code, and this one I want to access that our model as a code model, and here into this code model I have also created one of the function. Remember, I have created the function name as a generate code. That is the function now I want to call it. So that is a function here, I simply call it. Okay. Now I want our next process will be here, in particular that our logging code, I have already defined some of the field. If you go to our table, our logging code field, that is our email, code and expiry at, right? So now one by one I want to create this data in here. So if you want to store this data, in that case we have to call that our method name. Our method name will be as a create method, and with this create method I want to define that our field name, our first field as email, and email will be which one? Email will be our, that is the user also will be stored this data in our user table. Before I have already checked it, right? So that is the user data. I take this by this name as a user. So now with this user here we will get that our user email. Okay, great. And then our another field will be our code. Okay, I want to take that our code field. So that will be our code field, and code field will be which one? Code field will be, that is we generated one of the code, and I take the things with this variable, that will be our code. Okay friend, I hope that every concept is very clear to you. And then our another field will be as a expiry at. I make it as a expiry at. So here I want to set that our time. So from to our current time as a now time, I simply loaded that our now time, and then here I want to call another function as a add second. Okay, add second, SECONDS, add seconds function. How many seconds you want to apply this code, that means valid for this code? I want to make it as a 60 second. Okay, so that will be as a 60 second, this code will be valid, rather than after that 60 second that will be as expired. Great. Okay friend, I hope the concept is very clear to you. So now after that, here we have to configure that our mail. So I want to call it one of the mail function, that will be as a mail, which I will also set up it later. But now I'm going to take it as mail. Mail will be as a raw one of the function here, that will be display like as a welcome. Okay, welcome your verification code is, our code is which one? If you also want to show it dynamically, you can actually display it. In that case here I want to pass it, that is the code, whatever the code that will be created. So here I want to pass it. Then I want to simply go to that our next line by here as a backslash as a n, as a double one of the new line. Okay, that is actually for the new line, that will be added 2 of this new line, and then here after that, that will be added as a this code will, okay, this code will expire, expire in 60 seconds, 60 and then seconds. Okay, so this type of the message I want to visible, and here I want to call on the function. That will be as a function, and in this functions area here I want to throw out that our message Laravel default provided this message function. Here I want to call it, that will be used in our which area, that will be used in our user area. That means that is actually our user. Here I have already take it, so now I want to simply also pass it, that will be use it into this our user. So now here that is the message. Here I want to show it. Okay, here after that I want to simply show it, that will be our, that is the message, and this message area that will be send it to that our user, right? Which user is already send this specific this user area, we have to send this our code. So that is the data we can get it from where? We can get it throughout this our user email, right? So now that will be simply to the other, that is on the message. This message will be send it to this our which user is sent that request. That is our user email area, that will be send it. And if you want, you can also set that our subject for your email, like I use that as a subject, and subject will be here. I want to use it as a verify your account. Okay, here I simply pass that type of another message. I hope every concept is very clear. Now I simply return it. I want to return, and that will be as a return redirect. That will be the return redirect to our logging route. I want to pass it. So that will be another route, and route I want to define as a logging route. Logging is already provided a breeze. So now here I want to pass it with the status message, like as a registration. Okay, registration successful or successfully what happened, whatever you choose, I make it as a successful. And please check your email for verification code. Okay, verification code. So that will be on the message. Here I want to send it. Okay friend, I think that's all here you have to do. I hope every concept, every line is very clear to you. Now I click as a save all. So now our next process we have to work in our logging page. We have to set up that our email configuration, and then we can check it. That should be work fine. Okay, better I want to continue this process. In our next video I will complete this part. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.